Welcome back to It Tastes Like Burning. This Matt.
This is Jesse.
Sorry for the exceedingly long delay, but believe it or not, we have been thoroughly disappointed and busy.
Yeah, I know it's been a wild few weeks.
Yeah, let me get my phone turned off there.
Well, let's just go louder and see if we can get transported.
Oh, there we go.
There are you.
Yeah, I thought was all settled.
I've been a one-armed paper hanger since the first of the year. I've had lots going on.
Yeah, no, it's stupid busy. Not only with the department, not only with personal stuff, but at least the world continues to get more convoluted and confused.
Yeah. I mean, I think you said it best when you said if it was raining titties, I'd get hit in the forehead with a dick.
You have had...
It's been a wild couple of weeks for January.
You've had a run.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you. Now, is it one for the record books? No. But is it one
everybody's
for the
healthy and fine and all that. Yeah.
But is it one for the personal aggravation book?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just so much going on. And guys, it's not because we're getting burned out on the podcast or anything.
No. Actually, we've wanted to do something. My problem is for the last 14 days, I've spent 4 nights now in my own bed.
Right. And just
literally been gone. Like
the last week, I haven't gotten home before 10 p.m.
Yeah, I think January 4th, I was headed to my part-time fire job in the city and smacked a deer inside of Fort Worth on an overpass on the interstate. So I lived in one of the most deer populous counties in the state of Texas, where deer outnumber people, 10 to 1. I'd hit one other deer in my entire adult life, and that one was in somebody's driveway, and I was going about 2 miles an hour, and the deer ran into me. Yeah.
You know, the only deer I've ever hit, only animal I've ever hit, was here in Texas, in town.
Yeah.
I hit a deer and it went into a boat. Different story.
Yeah.
So
I hit a deer on an overpass on Interstate 20, exiting off of Interstate 20. So that's glorious, and totaled my wife's car that I was driving that morning. And so that's been a 2-week ordeal of just gloriousness. At least she has another vehicle. She has a pickup as well. So granted, the pickup is not a going to the city kind of vehicle. It's just an old beater. It was her dad's. More sentimental value than it could ever be replaced with. Like, it's just a pickup, but she has a vehicle.
Right.
But the resolve of that, finally 2 weeks later, we're getting the resolve with the insurance company, and we're moving on to looking for new vehicles. But during that whole time, I've been out of pocket. I was either in one place or another for work, mostly. Had a little mini conference to go to down in Austin last weekend that lasted Friday, Saturday, Sunday, which was kind of a whirlwind deal.
Right.
To go do that for 3 or 4 days and turned around and then was back on the road again working. Ended up in Oklahoma a couple days working, and and here we are 2 weeks later, and I'm just now, like, this is the first time I've been home long enough to sit down with Matt, and, like, we sat down Friday night and just kind of shot the shit for a minute.
Right.
And that's probably the first time we'd sat down in the same room to shoot the shit for 2 weeks.
3?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's been that long.
Technically New Year's.
Yeah.
You take New Year's out of it, I mean, way before Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just, it's kind of is what it is. There's a lot of neat stuff happening, a lot of changes.
Big changes.
Big changes in our department. I did not win my reelection bid, which is good. I've said this story. I've told several people this because everybody wants you to be mad or feel bad or whatever. There's all these. I think people want there to be an emotional response and drama. That I think that's what they're looking to happen. And here's the reality of it: we won't know for years to come whether my time was a up or a down. Right? We won't know if it was the greatest time in the history of the department or the worst time in the history of the department. Only history will tell that. And in 10 years, no one will know who the hell I was anyway. So it is what it is, right? It's not that I wasn't willing to continue in that role or wanted to do that role. I'm more happy that the department has the ability to have an election and that role is voted on by the members.
Right. And here's the one thing I'll add to that. This will be a big news flash for a third of the people listening. The fact of the matter is that you and the previous assistant chief have helped me do really awesome things.
Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
Like really, really, really awesome things. And
hopefully the new one does the same.
We're big enough. There's enough moving parts that the ball's already rolling going downhill. And that there's only probably, in my very biased opinion, 3, 5 people that can remotely handle, prepare, and realize what we have coming in the future. And it's the classic, how do you stop an avalanche? You don't.
No.
The course is set. Gravity's already shifted. The material's moving downhill. And with that said, there's that 3, 5 people that can remotely handle that. They're still in office.
Yeah.
Like they're capable of handling the gigantic projects that we have coming.
Yeah, and I'm totally offered a very important role. I haven't actually formally accepted or denied the role yet in the department, being overtraining, which honestly is my happy spot. That's where I thrive. But with the 2 weeks that I've had, there hasn't been opportunity to focus on that at all.
Right.
Sit down and actually do some real talking and discussion and thinking about it, and like it's just not been in the cards for that to be what I tackled right now. I had way many other things on my plate. So
well, and the unique thing, and I was kind of thinking about maybe this would be the topic for tonight, is in this statement, it's not remotely aimed at my organization. But when you look at the politics around us, and let's truly go macro. Okay. To say that it's a little bit contentious in the US right now is an understatement.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then, Texas, it's a real small state, so we'll still call that macro. Okay. And you look at Texas has actually got some pretty serious hot topic issues. Okay. Everything from property taxes to ESDs to sales tax to the price of oil to NIMBY, not in my backyard. Okay. The grand plan for the current governor in place, in the direction he's taking the state, the business, I'll say opportunities, others will say curse, that he has pulled into the area. And then we start going macro, regionally, and then countywide, and then citywide. Uh, the AI revolution has hit our local county. To say that it is divisive and contentious is the understatement of the century. County officials and city officials are getting death threats now. And yet, here we are as just your humble schmuck VFD, and we still have to operate.
Yeah, I'd like to, and I know it's not a normal topic for us, but let's talk about NIMBY, and let's talk about kind of the BES and the data centers and the solar farms and the wind farms, and there's so much out there in the world that's just.
I just want to say, be prepared to get like anthrax in the mail.
That's fine. We'll get some anthrax, because I don't think I'm taking I'm just saying we need to talk about it, right? This is a thing. Like, people are dealing with this everywhere.
I bet you someone in Minnesota said that a month ago too.
Yeah, well, they go back to the boys' bathroom to get their tampons.
Yeah. Thank God it's stocked.
So this is happening everywhere. Like, yeah. It's not isolated to our county. It's not isolated to any county in Texas. It's every county in Texas. It's every county in most states in the union are right now just having discussions about whether or not they want a wind farm, solar farm, battery energy storage system, power plant, data center with power plant, nuclear plant. Like, there's a lot of things infrastructure wise, and really data centers kind of are the new infrastructure, right? That's the internet. That's what's going to power the internet of the future. So that, as much as you don't want it, and as much as you hate it, or you don't want it in your county, neighborhood, state, wherever, everything you do relies on it now. Your Ring camera, your Apple iPhone, like, everything functions if there's a cloud server, or you're using ChatGPT or Facebook, or, I mean, really and truly, there's not a lot of people that are not using some form of data in their lives.
I suspect that it's less than 0.5% in the U.S. now.
Are using it?
Not using.
Not using. Yeah.
That includes the Amish and anyone that's in an Alzheimer or dementia ward.
Well, and they may be using it and just don't realize it, because all their medical records and charting.
Well, they won't get credit for the hospital use.
Yeah. Yeah. It's being used for everything. So to say that everybody can't say not here, like, it's got to be somewhere. I get it. I truly do get it, but in a world where we want our personal rights and our rights to use our property how we want to use it, you kind of have to reciprocate that to an extent for somebody else to use their property the way they want to use it fundamentally.
I got about as close as you can get to touching the sun on this subject on Facebook. Okay. And the difference is that, whatever. I'm going to sound like a douchebag. I'm going to sound arrogant, whatever. I put a ton of time, energy, and thought into my reply. And the fact of the matter is this. At the end of the day, I am pro technology. When everyone hated green energy, I loved it. Not because I'm an environmentalist, but because I like any advancements in technology. Anything that pushes tech. I'm always going to be in favor of tech. And at the end of the day, there is nothing wrong with having major concerns about a major company theoretically setting up in your backyard.
Absolutely.
I have no problems with that. The fact of the matter is that your concerns are not only valid, they're worth listening to. And truthfully, they're the ones of the most value because you're the one actually affected by it.
Right.
That
I
said,
but
go ahead.
here's the thing, and I think it's a societal thing, and here we go going down the deep end, but we we live in a world now where the "can I see your manager Karen" is so prevalent, and people are so entitled to everything and anything, and that like they expect instant gratification and whatever, and when it actually doesn't go your way, because whatever it is, they put the solar panels on, the neighbor puts the solar panels on his house, and you don't want to look at it, you don't get to throw a fit anymore. Like
Not in Texas.
it is what it is.
Yeah, not in Texas. You don't get an opinion anymore.
Yeah.
Because the fact of the matter is that Texas is a property rights advocate,
Yeah.
majorly. And it doesn't matter what you think about your neighbor, whether they have a pygmy goat farm, whether they have a go kart track, or whether they're a Fortune 25 company and they're building a $50 billion project on your property line. It doesn't matter. Because the fact of the matter is the governor of Texas said, come on in. And all those conservatives just sat there and championed property rights, private property rights.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the rue and the rub. And I think it's important that people understand this because to understand what I'm going to say next, it just is. You have to understand politically where I stand. Dangerous, dangerous, dangerous topic. Okay. I don't know if you can get more libertarian than me. I truly believe that two gay men or two lesbian women ought to be able to protect their marijuana farm with fully automatic weapons, as long as they pay taxes.
Yeah.
Okay. You can't get more libertarian than me. Now, all of that said, jokes aside, haha. Okay. There's nothing wrong with a small property owner having a major problem with the business setting up next to them and wondering about water usage, light pollution, noise pollution, impact to their local utilities, water usage, electrical usage, road impacts. Like all of these are very important things and not to be mitigated, and I will argue not to be destroyed by the Fortune 25 company.
Yeah. You can't just show up and put in a train horn testing station
Right.
in an HOA, right? Yeah. Like there's guardrails. There has to be guardrails.
Right.
There has to be something, right? And I think that we go from one extreme to the other, where there are no guardrails, to don't let anything happen. We can't have anything. Nothing can happen. I think we lose the middle. I think people lose the middle. I think that's where the problem is. And then if you fall in the middle, now all of a sudden you're the Antichrist, right?
Right.
So
Which would be me and you.
yeah, because you fall in the middle. I think there's benefits to, and I've said this in private. So to me, the difference between a big giant data center, solar farm, whatever, chewing up a whole bunch of land or whatever, and thousands of acres of land that's being used for, and a solar farm is a good example of that, right? Because it can't be used for anything else, right? It's just
No.
a giant batch of land. But what that does is that means that there's also not going to be houses there.
Right.
And houses mean traffic, they mean people, they mean calls, they mean
Infrastructure impacts.
yeah, like they mean all those things to
And
us.
nowhere near the revenue that a technology center would generate.
Right. Yeah.
Nowhere near the revenue.
Yeah. Yeah, because if you're in a county in West Texas that's sparsely populated that may have, let's just say it has $200 million worth of tax roll. And then somebody comes in and builds a $500 million facility.
Yeah, or billion,
Or billion.
5 billion.
Yeah. It just completely changed the dynamic of what property taxes look like in that area.
Right. Yeah, that's I really do at the end of the day. And maybe I am the world's dumbest person.
I am, obviously.
Okay. But I can assure you that if you're the one neighbor that approaches these facilities and expresses realistic concerns and asks for practical solutions, you know what's odd? I'm telling you, they're going to meet that.
Yeah.
You know why? It's real simple. Because at the end of the day, it's just good business to be a good neighbor. It's not 1960 anymore.
I came from an area that it was sand mining was the industry that would buy up chunks of land and turn it into giant holes in the ground, right? Because that's what a sand mine does. Generally speaking, when those companies would come in and buy land like that from somebody that was willing to sell to them, they would go to those neighbors, and if those neighbors wanted to do a land swap for a different piece of property, they just buy their property too, and it would turn into a buffer area.
Right.
Like they'd use the house for an engineer to live in, or some plant person that was important to the operation. They'd use that for those purposes and lease the land for hunting or something, some other use, farming or whatever. They'd lease that back to whoever came out of it.
Oh my God, let's go down the rabbit hole real quick on wildlife impact.
There actually is quite a bit of that.
So I come from a state, Colorado, that just destroyed logging, that ultimately destroyed all the national forest and state forest in the state because they wouldn't allow the loggers to work. Okay. And as a hunter, oddly enough, one of the places you always paid attention to was the handful of places where loggers were at. Because where did the animals go? To the loggers. You know why? Because they didn't shoot at them. It was literally that simple.
Yeah.
You could track Colorado elk herds by where logging was occurring in the state and know where the animals were going to push out of the high country into the low country based on the logging permits in the state. How stupid is that?
Pretty stupid.
That's pretty stupid. I don't get me wrong. Sand mining, I can see that impacting the environment.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're digging a giant hole in the ground.
Quite frankly, a data center, it doesn't affect anything. Precursor, I'm not a state biologist. I do not represent any critter association,
Yeah.
and I am not with the EPA or any other wildlife federation for the critters.
You know,
I just
do critters, are they going to move and go somewhere else? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just, they're going to do the same thing if it's houses or whatever, right? Because what happens when all the little skunk family comes back into the neighborhood of houses?
They get made pets.
No, they get made into squashed. They get made into dead. And so everything adversely affects something, right? It's always going to be that way. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Kind of a weird side tangent for tonight. We've had lots of requests to kind of keep it short,
We'll try.
so that's pretty short-ish. Let's give it a short try and see what that leaves them with.
Well, shit, I'll just throw my notes away. I had 19 hours of crap to talk about. Yeah, no, we'll try that.
Yeah, let's try it and see what that does.
See what happens there.
Yeah.
So, on that fantastic squished skunk family, dramatic drum roll.
One more thing. I do remember this would have been in probably early 2000 wildfire, that for 5 days the instructions were go down this road and turn left at the dead skunk.
Excellent. I don't think I've ever had that.
You've never used a dead skunk as a point of reference?
No, I have not.
Yeah, it's a good thing. It's fun.
Must be a Texas thing.
Texas thing, yeah. Yeah.
With that said, this Matt.
This is Jesse.
And if you ever feel like reaching out to us, find us on ittasteslikeburningcast@gmail.com. You can always find us on Patreon. Give us a little support there if you ever need thongs, jock straps, flip-flops, shot glasses, or beanies, candles. And always find us on YouTube. With that said, this Matt.
This is Jesse.
Have a good evening.